I'm out here today on Harvey's job, the concrete guys, and we're gonna give this new Beak a try. So they've been busting this up with their jackhammer, and the jackhammer's having some problems, so they called me in. So we have this little bit here yet to do. So let's see if this Beak will work. And there's the jackhammer over there, they're messing with it. If you've never heard of the Beak attachment, it is an attachment for a skid steer that is specifically designed to lift up slabs like this, concrete slabs, and it's got a very high leverage advantage to it, and so it puts all the leverage and the force of the skid steer into lifting. And so the nice thing about that is, instead of blowing the concrete slab into a million pieces, which takes forever with the concrete breaker, the breaker is really hard on the machine, and then you have to load all the individual teeny tiny pieces, often by hand, into the bucket and then in the truck. The nice thing about the Beak here is it will break the concrete into large slabs. So instead of trying to blow it into a million little tiny pieces that then you have to deal with, you can set larger slabs into the back of the truck. And so that was my appeal for getting this attachment, to try it out with the tear outs here. And so we're going to take a look at that. I'm also going to show you what it looks like when we do the traditional jackhammering and blowing the concrete slab into a million pieces. Alright, so the idea here is, instead of piling it like this, you wouldn't do this, you would be loading each one in the truck. So we're waiting for the truck to get back here. Oh, there it is actually, look at that. Boop, right there. So we'll see if we can get this loaded up. Alright, so that load of concrete's headed off to recycling. So that Beak worked really well. Instead of smashing these things in a million pieces, it uses leverage and the skid steer's power to pick up big slabs and just set them in the truck. So I think it's a huge improvement over jackhammering. Here are a couple of examples of projects where we had to bust out a bunch of old concrete, and you can see just how time consuming and labor intensive in terms of how the Bobcat is having to work so hard to break out the concrete, and then we have to pretty much load it. He can scoop up a few of the chunks, but a lot of these big chunks have to get loaded up by hand. And so after doing a few of these jobs with the concrete guys, there had to be a better way. There's got to be a way to pick up big chunks of concrete and just set them in the back of the truck instead of blowing it into a million pieces. I could really go on and on with examples of jobs where we've done this, but you get the idea. The jackhammer just takes forever to break through everything, and it's really hard on the machine. And then you have to come back through and scoop it back up with the bucket. as far as the Beak goes, I've used this thing once already, and it works really, really well for pulling up old concrete. The concrete guys just could not get over how powerful it was and how quick. And the whole idea here is, instead of jackhammering the concrete into a million little teeny tiny pieces, this thing can break up large slabs, large chunks of slab, and then you place them in the back of the truck. So I brought this over. This is a lot lighter and less cumbersome than their jackhammer, and we're going to see if we can get this little bit of concrete out of here. So I'm pretty sure this Beak is going to make quick work of this. So let's see how we do. I'm back out this morning helping my buddy, the concrete guy, with my new attachment, the Beak. So we're going to be tearing out a small patio in the backyard here. So I've got the track machine to do a little bit easier on the ground and the grass going back and forth, and I've got the Beak with me today. So this thing has been working out really, really well, and I want to show you another job with it. Here in the backyard, they had a deck and a patio, and there were a bunch of shrubs around the deck. They got those cut down, but there were a bunch of stumps left, and so part of the job was to get rid of the stumps. And of course the Beak can make quick work of those stumps as well. So I was pulling them out and stacking them and then carrying them off to the brush. And the Beak just makes really quick work out of it. It's real easy. The first load of concrete is off to recycling, and I'm just kind of killing time here, and so waiting for the truck to get back. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to stack these things and strategically place them so when the truck does get back, I can load them really quickly. But by far the best way to do this with the Beak is to break each piece out like I'm doing here, and then load it in the truck instead of trying to stack it and pick it back up a second time. But again, I was just killing time here. I know I said that that was kind of a waste of time to make these little piles, but once the dump truck got back, this was less than 9 minutes to load this truck up. And so maybe I need to rethink that a little bit, especially if the truck is a little bit distance from where you're working. You may, while the truck is going to drop the first load of concrete, if you don't have a second truck that's empty, you may go ahead and make some strategic piles like I had here. This was very, very fast to load the truck back up, and it was a full load too. So the guys really, really like this Beak, and so do I. This Beak attachment has gotten a ton of work done for me, and it's really kind of fun to use as well. It really, really makes quick work of tearing out that old concrete. So the whole reason I was looking for a Beak in the first place was because my concrete buddy Harvey, he blew up one of his Bobcats on a long, just a real big breakout project that he was working on. And so he was running the breaker for a long time, and it overheated the Bobcat and blew it up. And so I was really looking for like a more modern way. I figured there had to be a better way, more modern way to take out concrete than to just pulverize it into a million pieces. And that's when I found the Beak. And so when Harvey was one Bobcat down, I figured I may be subcontracting my equipment out to him to help him on his jobs. And so that's when I picked up the Beak. We've used it several times. He's really, really impressed with it. So am I. Just the speed and ease at which it can take out the old concrete and not have to get in there with that breaker. So I would definitely recommend getting a Beak if you are looking into getting into concrete, or if you're looking into modernizing your concrete operations. So let me know in the comments if you like this equipment style video instead of like a job style video, and I'll make more equipment style videos of some of the stuff I use. All right, thanks for watching.